What's up guys, this is Eddie. Welcome to the new video, Mental DPS, let's go. Alright, we're gonna start with single target loadout rotation and setup. So I am 348 CR right now, my might is 106,050. This is a might based loadout, so we're gonna focus on might. And looking at the gear mods, I'm using Blast Adapter 5, Supercharged New Venom Boost 3, Escalating Might 5 for neck, Berserker for back, Penetrating Strike for chest, Restorative Phantom Flames for leg, Improved Stealth for hands, and Dashing Combos for feet. Now Dashing Combos is a super speed based power, so if you're not super speed you can switch to super speed, but I will tell you the alternate in a minute. And now looking at the artifacts, we are using the three most common artifacts right now and a fourth one. Strategist card, Transformation card, Solar Amplifier for single target. So the Strategist card will basically put damage over time on your target for 8 seconds. So very handy and gives you 4% might. Transformation card will give you 20% critical chance attack and 30% critical magnitude on your attacks, so very helpful. And when you combine it with Strategist card, you do some great damage. It also gives you 3% might. Solar Amplifier is basically for your heat vision iconic power, so it amplifies your heat vision. You get 10% eye beam damage. Now heat vision is already a damage over time power. When you combine it with Solar Amplifier, it will basically turn your heat vision into burst damage as well. So damage over time plus burst damage in the end, it burns the enemy. Really good, give you 5% might. So these are the artifacts we're going to use. Now quickly looking at the skill points. Under weapon, we are using dual wield. You can get one. Otherwise, if you have extra skill points, get all of these. Under super speed, we're going to get the first one, speed force, or if you're flight or whatever. And then you're going to get tornado pull. If you're not super speed, forget about this, just get the first one. Under iconic powers, we're going to be using Robot Sidekick, New Venom Boost, Heat Vision, and under stat points, we'll be speccing for Super Powered, which will give you 10% might. Then we're going to put our skill points in critical attack chance, critical attack damage, and then everything in might and power. Now, if you have extra skill points, you can put in precision. So let's get that. And we're putting in precision because we will be using our weapon range tap in between our powers, and we're going to clip that, so we will be getting some extra damage out of weapon as well. Now let's go and look at the loadout. So the first one is going to be Psychic Prison. This is your simple AOE field damage, and it will apply damage over time on your enemies. Number 2 is Invisibility, and it will grant you multiple abilities, as you can see, but we will be using our own loadout under Invisibility. We will go in Invisibility in a second. Number 3 is Telekinesis. It dazes your enemy and it also applies damage over time. Number 4 is Heat Vision. As you talked before, it burns the enemy, applies damage over time, and do a burst damage to nearby target as well. Number 5 is Terrorize. This is your finisher. If your target's health is below 35%, it will do some additional damage, so really good. Number 6 is Robot Sidekick, your pet, and will do some damage and help you in the combat. Now we're gonna go into Invisibility, which is number 2 power, and see the loadout. So number 2 is Invisibility. So under Invisibility, we're gonna be using Ambush Sleep. It is specifically for mental, and it will retain your stealth when you use this. Dazes the enemy as well. It's a burst damage, so when you use this, it will do around 27 to 28k depending on your might, and if it crits, it goes to like 60 to 70k easily. Number 2 is Tornado Pull. It's also a burst damage. Number 3 is Menace. It's a weapon buff, and since we will be using our weapon range tap attack, so we were gonna be using this, and it will also be used to clip number 2 and number 3 because it's a clippable power. Number 4 is Mass Levitation. It also dazes the enemy, deals damage over time, and it's a great power. So what we're going to do is, rotation is very simple. You're going to clip 1, 2, and 3. So when you clip 1, 2, and 3, you will be in Invisibility. When you're in Invisibility, you do Ambush Sleep, jump cancel out of it, do 2, 3, and 4. Right? You clipped all 3 together. So 2, 3, 4, basically very simple. 1, 2, 3, 1 jump cancel, 2, 3, 4. Go back into Heat Vision because we already done these powers, right? So skip to Heat Vision, then go to Terrorize. By the time you do Terrorize, Psychic Prison will be out of cooldown. So pop Psychic Prison again because we really want that damage over time. So pop that again, go back to number 3, number 4, number 5, and by the second time you will do terrorize, by the time you will finish the animation, your invisibility will be out of cooldown, and so will the number 1 and number 3 power. So you go back into 1, 2, 3, do 1 jump cancel, 2, 3, 4, and go back into heat vision. So very simple loadout. Now let's go and look at the spine target and the numbers. Alright, as you can see, 91k, 90k, and some 67ks. Ignore the number 3rd parser because I really messed up. You can see the hits are lower. I messed up doing that. So 91k. It can go higher if you're buffed. I am not buffed. I am never buffed when I'm showcasing the loadout. Still amazing damage. 91k is not bad, and I'm pretty sure I have some, slight lag right now. So if you don't have lag, if you are buffed, and if you have high stats, you are definitely gonna hit 100k with this single target loadout. So let's go and check out AOE Loadout. So for AOE, I'm still 340 HCR, but you can see I have lost around 1300 might. So that's because we're using a different artifact. So everything else is same. I like to use rifle for my AOE range damage because we can clip its grenade with your superpowers. So everything else is same mods, and we are using still strategist card and transformation card, but instead of solar amplifier we're going to be using Grimorium. Now Grimorium is your pet, which basically spawns by your side and aids you in the combat. It also applies your power interaction. So for mental, it terrifies the enemy. Now we're going to look at the skill points. Skill points are same, almost. Rifle 1 point, super speed and tornado pool, skip that. Under iconic powers, we're going to be using robot sidekick and new venom boost. Under stat points, same as before, super powered, critical attack chance, critical attack damage. Put everything in might and power, and if you have extra skill points, put in precision. So looking at the loadout. Alright, the first one, same as before, psychic prison. Number 2, same as before, invisibility. But instead of using telekinesis, we are using phantom flames this time because this is an AOE loadout and we need powers which hit all the enemies. So phantom flames, it will, if the enemies are already terrified, they will take additional damage, and it's a damage over time power, and enemies will be already terrified because you are using Grimorium Verum as your artifact, which will apply the power interaction. Number 4, mass levitation, same as before, dizes the enemy, damage over time. Number 5 is your burst. It's only 0.5% cooldown, you can actually spam it. It terrifies the enemy and does some great damage. Now under invisibility, we are going to be using mass terror. So terrified enemies take additional damage. It's a burst power, really cool AOE damage. Number 2 is menace, same as before, weapon buff. So we're going to be clipping number 1 and number 2 and doing number 3 as soon as we get out of the animation. So 1, 2, 3 really fast. Number 3 is psychic shock. So psychic shock, terrified enemies will take additional damage, and it's also damage over time. So there's a lot of damage over time going on here, but still we have 2 burst powers in the loadout. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna do 1, 2, 3. Go inside, do 1, 2, 3. There is no jump cancel, so it's really fast. And if you have lag sometimes, like me, you might miss hitting mass terror and go straight into menace. It happens, don't worry about it, just continue the rotation. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Once you're inside invisibility, right, and when you will hit this, you will be out of the invisibility, and then you can go back to mass levitation, number 5, and just repeat the loadout. And now let's go to the sparring target and see the numbers. So as I said before, its AOE is decent, but not that great. So 125k, 124k, 120k, It's there, it's just not that great compared to other powers like munitions, you know, or even gadgets, but still it's not that bad. But I've been testing, if you can go precision for AOE instead of might, you will do more damage. So let's quickly take a look at the precision setup. Alright, so for precision, don't worry about it if you don't have precision mods. Don't worry about it. I'm still using might, as you can see. I'm still using accelerating might for neck, right? Every mod is same. The difference is we're using brawling for our main damage source, right? For weapons. So everything is same. We're still using same artifacts. The only thing you can change, and it's very easy to change, are the augments. So for other loadouts, might based loadout, you're going to be using might, right? But for this, we're going to use precision. And if you're maxed out on augments, well, you're in luck. So everything is same, but we're gonna have a different spec. What you're gonna do is you're gonna go for weapons and get brawling and brawling's weapon mastery. So that means you have to unlock martial arts as well. Under super speed, we're gonna get the first one, tornado pool, and then go all the way down here to do whirling dervish. Now whirling dervish is important for precision based loadouts right now, because you can clip out of it and go back into doing the weapon combo as fast as possible. This will increase your overall damage. Under iconic powers, robot sidekick and new venom boost, of course, stat points, we're going to be using weapon expert because we are now focused on precision, and weapon expert is basically you get more weapon damage. Critical attack chance, critical attack damage, and then put everything in precision first, and then if you have extra skill points, put in might and power. So that's very simple. Now let's go and take a look at loadout. Loadout is gonna be psychic prison, invisibility, same as before, clip number 1 and 2, and then 3. Number 3 is your damage over time, inflicts terror on dazed enemies. If your enemies are already dazed, it will inflict terror on them. Number 4 is whirling dervish. When you use number 4, quickly tap your range weapon attack and then just go into brawling combo. Number 5 is terror tendrils, as I said before, your burst power. Under invisibility, we're using mass levitation, menace, and psychic shock. So you can clip 1, 2, 3. So basically same as before, 1, 2, 3 clip, 1, 2, 3 clip, you're out, and you can do the weapon combos. So let's quickly go to the sparring target and see the difference. So 150Ks, 140Ks, 100 and some 120Ks, but you can clearly see this is way better than might AOE loadout, and it's faster, it's quicker, so you can do really fast burst damage on your enemies. And you know, when there are ads and you have to move to the next ads, this is the way to go. And the best part about this loadout is you don't have to switch your base mods from might to precision. If you switch those, obviously you'll be losing might and you'll be losing your single target damage. So don't do that. Only just spec for precision under skill point and traits, and if you have precision augments, that's amazing. Use flex order for extra precision and you're good to go. So now let's go and take a look at the melee. Alright, for melee, it's kind of similar to single target, but we have different specs. So same as before, 348 CR, might 104,713. You're using dual wield, you can use any weapon you want, same mods, everything. Transformation card, strategist card, and Grimorium as before. Looking at the traits, you're using weapon dual wield, so 1 point in there. Super speed, you have to have super speed for melee. I'm so sorry if you're not super speed, you cannot do melee without super speed for mental. The reason is because most of the mental powers are, and when I say most, it's like 99% powers are range powers. so there's no point of going melee with mental range power. So what you're gonna do is we're gonna go for super speed and get this, get Cyclone Push, go all the way down here and get Whirling Dervish, one of the best melee attacks in game. Under iconic powers, we're gonna get Robot Sidekick, New Venom Boost, and Sonic Cry. And under stat points, super powered, critical attack chance, critical attack damage, put everything in might and power, and the rest in precision. So looking at the loadout, first one, Psychic Prison is same as before, Invisibility same as before. You're gonna clip that with Sonic Cry. Sonic Cry is your burst damage, it dazes the enemies as well, right? And then you're gonna go for Whirling Dervish. You're gonna spin like a maniac and it will do some great damage. Now remember, we were using dashing combos for feet, so when you will do Whirling Dervish and you tap melee, it will go forward. So when you go forward, you clip that with number 5 power, which is Pyrokinesis. Basically, it inflicts daze effect on terrified enemies, and if the enemies are already dazed or terrified, they might become encased. It's also a burst power, some good damage on melee range. It's also burst power and does some great damage on melee range. So under invisibility, we're gonna be using Ambush Sleep. What you're gonna do is you're gonna pop Ambush Sleep, jump cancel it. You're gonna clip Cyclone Push with Menace and then do Mass Levitation. Mass Levitation will bring you out of invisibility and then you can continue with your loadout. So let's go to the sparring target and see the numbers. Okay, so we have 149k, 144k, 140k. Now keep in mind, mental is all about range damage, right? So for burst damage, we had to use some iconic powers from super speed. But still, I will only suggest this loadout if you really want to go melee. Otherwise, stay ranged, and especially, you know, the precision loadout is really good. So just stay ranged and go for single target loadout and you are golden. But if you really want to go melee, use this loadout. It will do some good burst damage and it will help you out in rates like, you know, FV or starting point of FF. So that being said, mental is great, but it's definitely not top DPS. It's right there. It's missing AOE damage basically. Single target is awesome, but it's missing AOE damage. Just make sure to read the pinned comment down below. And that concludes the video. If you have any questions, just comment in the comment section below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And I'll see you guys next time.